Hi, I'm Jennifer Hummel, and the book that I chose this week from the William Allen White Award winners was The Boy on the Porch by Sharon Creech. She is also the illustrator. This is a contemporary realistic fiction, has about 151 pages, and it is appropriate for grades 3rd through 5, which would be about age 9 through 11. The main character in this story is a little boy named Jacob, and he is mute. And the other characters, or the other two really main characters, are John and Marta, and they are a younger farm family that do not have any other children. Um, there are also many other characters in the story, like the sheriff and the general store. I don't know, manager. He runs the general store. Anyway, there's also Lucy, which is Jacob's one and only human friend, and her mother, and then, of course, the many animals, the cow, the beagle, and the goat. Um, as far as the illustrations go, really the only illustration within this book is right here on the cover. There's great detail. I don't know if you can really tell by the pictures, but there's a lot of scroll work up on the banisters. You can see great detail, like you can see the slats of wood in the farmhouse. Just great detail. The colors are really rich and dark. Reds, of course, you can see the green shrubbery and whatnot. And then, of course, the shadow of the boy on the porch. And I believe that shows relevance because he is mute. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know, but I do believe so. The plot of the story is one morning, John and Marta wake up and they go out on the porch, and here is this little boy, Jacob, who has been left on the porch, and he's there asleep, and he doesn't wake for a long time, but when he does, he is unable to communicate with him because he is mute, which makes things very difficult for them. And he is there for a long time, and throughout his time there, they realize that he is very artistic, and not only with paints and drawings, but also musically. And they basically bring Jacob in to raise as their own child. And and I forgot to tell you that towards the beginning, they did find a note in the pocket that said, "Please take care of Jacob. He's a good boy. We will be back." Okay, so jumping back forward, eventually Jacob's real father comes to claim Jacob after they formed this bond with Jacob, and so they're very torn, and they don't want him to be taken away. And unfortunately, the sheriff is there when this whole incident takes place, and he says we have no choice because we have a birth certificate that shows proof that he is really this man's son. So, as sad and distraught as they are, Jacob leaves with his real father, and for days and days, they're very sad. And eventually, John and Marta end up becoming foster parents and end up having many children in and out of their home. And eventually, in the end of the story, Jacob comes home. Jacob comes back. He finds his way back to John and Martha, and they go out on the porch, and there he is again asleep. So he came home to where he belonged in their mind, and obviously in his, because he found his way back. As far as the setting, there's many in the, at their farm, in the barn, in the pasture, at the house, sometimes in the town that John and Marta were from, and like in the general store, or even at the park where like Lucy and Jacob would play. So there were many settings throughout the story. Most of them, I would say, were probably outside or like in the barn. Um, as far as the theme, I think it really is a lot about family and the life's challenges that we all face, and just empathy that people should have for each other. As far as the interactions between the characters, loving, caring, and nurturing um, for one another, there's, just sometimes there is frustration because of that lack of able to communicate, but there was just a very strong, loving bond there. Really, with Marta from the beginning, and with John in time, it grew. So definitely a good book that I would recommend um, to students. I would read to them, an activity that I would have them do, because it does kind of hit the range of third to fifth grade is I would read the story and then we would kind of brainstorm together and think about a time when they maybe have the same types of feelings that Jacob experienced in being left and having this whole new experience alone all by himself. And then maybe even, the feelings that he felt when he was torn away, even though he was probably happy to go with his real dad, he really had grown such a loving bond with John and Marta that he just felt so torn to be pulled away. So, but I would have them kind of think of a time that they had a situation like that in their life. Then I would have them write about that, and and then we would do oral presentations to the class. That way, the other students could hear that maybe other students have similar situations as well, and maybe they could learn to empathize with their classmates. Again, my story is the boy on the porch by Sharon Creech. Thank you.